The surprising power of letting go lies in a strange paradox. The less you care, the more life seems to work in your favor. The moment you stop obsessing, chasing, and gripping onto things with desperation, they begin to flow effortlessly toward you. This principle was embraced by 16th-century philosopher Michel de Montaigne, who observed the world with curiosity rather than attachment. He questioned why people were trapped in cycles of worry, desire, and disappointment, and found that it's our obsession with control that actually makes us feel out of control. Imagine trying desperately to impress someone, overanalyzing every word, text, and action. That desperation often makes us appear anxious and unnatural. In contrast, someone relaxed, self-assured, and simply present is effortlessly attractive. This same truth applies to money, relationships, and success. The more we chase out of fear, the more these things slip away. But when we let go of the outcome and stop trying so hard, life begins to align in unexpected, beautiful ways. Montaigne wasn't suggesting we become careless or lazy, but that we release the need to control every detail. By detaching from rigid expectations, we free ourselves from stress, suffering, and the toxic mindset of not enough. It's the law of reversed effort. The harder you try, the worse the outcome. Like trying to fall asleep, forcing confidence, or chasing happiness, the effort backfires. That's why Montaigne believed in flowing with life, not fighting it. He noticed that the most miserable people were often the ones constantly scheming and forcing outcomes, while those who surrendered, observed, and trusted the process found peace and joy with ease. So think back to a time you wanted something so badly that it consumed you. Maybe it was a job or a relationship. Chances are, the harder you pushed, the further it slipped away. Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to hold onto something, a relationship, a dream, or a specific outcome, the more it seems to slip away? That's because when you act from desperation, you're operating from a mindset of lack, unconsciously broadcasting to the world, "I don't have this and I need it." And the world, in turn, mirrors that energy back. But contrast that with moments when you were relaxed, detached, and simply being yourself. When you weren't chasing, things effortlessly gravitated toward you. This is the power of relaxed detachment, a concept deeply understood by 16th-century philosopher Michel de Montaigne. He wasn't saying not to care, he was saying to care without clinging, to take action without strangling the outcome. When you stop needing things to go a certain way, you unlock a quiet power that shifts everything. Ironically, the more you let go, the more life flows in your favor. Real control doesn't come from tightening your grip or obsessing over every detail. It comes from trusting the natural rhythm of life, which responds to calm confidence, not anxiety. Montaigne observed that many people live in a self-made prison, constantly chasing happiness, success, or love as if it's just out of reach. But the more they chase, the further it drifts away, like trying to grasp water with a clenched fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through. But if you open your hand, the water naturally gathers. That's the paradox of effort. The right kind of effort feels effortless. It's a state of being, not frantic doing. Look at the most fulfilled and magnetic people. They move through life with ease, not because they don't care, but because they've mastered the art of detachment. They don't overthink or micromanage, they trust. And that trust frees them from stress and fear, allowing things to fall into place naturally. The moment you stop needing something is the moment you become truly powerful, and the people who understand this truth live life on a completely different level. When you stop gripping so tightly and let things flow, it's like stepping out of a storm and realizing you were the one creating the wind all along. The mind's obsession with control is one of the greatest sources of human suffering. Michel de Montaigne understood this deeply. He saw how people constantly replay conversations, worry about the future, and carry past mistakes like armor, all in an effort to control what simply cannot be controlled. But what if you just stopped, not in a careless or reckless way, but with awareness, acknowledging, "This isn't helping me"? Think about how much of your stress comes from problems that only exist in your mind. Montaigne believed that our struggles often don't come from life itself, but from our resistance to it. The moment you stop fighting reality, you gain a quiet kind of power. Take relationships. When someone chases love desperately, overthinks everything, and tries too hard, they push people away. But when they relax, let go, and just be, they become magnetic. The same applies to creativity, success, and opportunity. When you're present, not forcing, you do your best work. Montaigne observed that those who moved through life with lightness, humor, and fluidity thrived because they weren't demanding life to be anything other than what it was. The paradox? The more relaxed you are, the more life gives you what you want. The universe responds not to struggle, but to alignment. Letting go isn't weakness, it's a strategy, a superpower. And yet, most people struggle with surrender because they're addicted to the illusion of certainty. The brain craves patterns and the familiar, even if it's painful. That's why people stay stuck in unhappy relationships, toxic jobs, or outdated versions of themselves, not because they want to, but because the unknown feels scarier than the discomfort they know. Montaigne saw this too. People clung to comforting lies rather than freeing truths. But when you accept the unknown, life transforms. Uncertainty becomes possibility, not threat. The most successful people, artists, innovators, entrepreneurs, aren't rigid. They adapt. They let go of control and follow curiosity. Leonardo da Vinci didn't lock himself into one identity. He flowed freely and mastered many disciplines because he let go of the need to force a singular path. The best investors don't panic during chaos because they expect it. They stay calm, knowing control is an illusion. So ask yourself, where are you clinging to certainty that's holding you back? Is it a belief, an identity, or a plan that no longer fits who you're becoming? Montaigne said, "A man who fears suffering is already suffering from what he fears." We don't fear life, we fear losing control over it. But the moment you stop trying to force outcomes, something powerful happens. You stop reacting and you start responding. You attract instead of chase. You adapt instead of resist. You stop trying to conquer life and begin co-creating it. And in that shift, from control to surrender, you discover a strange truth. The less you chase, the more life flows in your favor. When you stop chasing and start letting go, something remarkable happens. Everything begins to fall into place. It's not magic, it's that your mind stops working against you. Think about how stress sabotages performance. Public speakers freeze when they obsess over not messing up. Athletes choke when they focus too hard on winning. And in relationships, the more you cling, the more likely you are to push the other person away. This pattern is universal. When you grip too tightly, you often break what you're trying to hold. But when you loosen your grip and relax, things naturally align. Montaigne understood this deeply. He saw that people live in constant fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown, but it's not the fear of those things that causes suffering, it's fear itself. If you've ever experienced a moment where you truly stopped caring what others think, you know the freedom that follows. Conversations flow, creativity surges, and ironically, the very things you wanted often come to you. So why is letting go so hard? Because we're conditioned to believe that control means safety. We're taught to plan, predict, and avoid uncertainty. But the people who thrive, the happiest, most fulfilled, aren't the ones micromanaging every detail. They're the ones who trust themselves to adapt, who find the balance between discipline and obsession, structure and suffocation. The truth is, most of your stress doesn't come from your circumstances, but from your resistance to them. It's the internal war between what is and what should be. But when you stop trying to force life into a mold and allow it to unfold, you start experiencing its true richness. Uncertainty becomes an open invitation to play, to pivot, and to create without fear. And in that mental freedom, everything starts falling into place. If this message resonates, share your story. What's one area of your life where letting go changed everything? And if you want more insights like this, don't forget to subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming next.